Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to the Cámara Peruana de Comercio Exterior Comics. Today we're going to have three classes, one lined up after another. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. And remember that we can interact through Zoom, but also through the Comics app, Facebook app. Okay, so if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, you can ask me the questions, and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Remember that the only problem sometimes with the Facebook application is that sometimes there's a slight delay in um, in the messages. So sometimes I receive them a little bit after you guys have sent me your messages, right? Okay, so before we begin, I would like, of course, like I said before, welcome everyone and wish that you're having a great Saturday. But also remember that COVID's still a big thing outside, so only go outside if it's absolutely necessary. If you like, for example, for first uh, things that are really needed at home, maybe food or health things or sanitary and things that you can use at home. But if it's not necessary, then there's no reason to go out. If you do have to go out, remember wear your masks, wear your face protector. Especially if you go on public transportation, avoid closed spaces, avoid big groups, practice social distancing as much as possible. When you come back home, remember to clean the soles of your shoes, wear hand sanitizer. If you can, spray some alcohol or disinfectant around your body, change clothes as possible. If it's possible, also take a shower, although these measures have been said sometimes to be a little bit extreme, but I think no measure is too extreme when it has a direct effect on our health and the people and that health of those that we love. So please, again, take all the necessary precautions if necessary, and make sure that everyone is safe and sound at home. Okay, and well, like I said, I will follow your comments through the Facebook app, and also through the Zoom application. Okay, so just practice with me. Ask me any questions that you might have, and I will answer them as quickly as possible. Okay, very good. So let's begin. This first session is going to be greeting and meeting and giving personal information. Okay, we're going to review information that we just saying hello and saying goodbye. Okay, we're going to talk about those topics in a little bit, and these are topics that we have already spoken, before, and it's going to be basically like a review, okay, of things that we have already seen and that are important for everyone. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Carlos Martinez Flores. I'm an English instructor and speaking coach, former team leader at Pacific University, and currently an NFL teacher at Villalarife School here in Chorrillos. Okay, so let's begin. Today we're going to talk about these 6 things, okay? Saying hello, introducing yourself, English greetings, introducing yourself and introducing people, giving personal information, parting phrases, saying goodbye, and a very quick review about the topic, okay? So these are the things that we're going to talk about and review today. So let's begin. Saying hello and introducing yourself. Okay, here is an essential list of essential phrases that you might use to say hello, introduce yourself, and also to introduce other people. Okay, um, when by saying hello, for example, here's a typical conversation. You say hi, hello, and you follow with a phrase like "How are you?" "How are things?" And the other person will answer with a phrase like "Fine" or ask you a similar question. For example, "Hi, Susie. How are you?" "Fine, thanks." "And you?" "Yeah, fine, thanks." Okay. So normally this is how you say hello to somebody in an informal way in a very typical conversation. Okay. Like I said, normally you say hi or hello, and you follow with expressions like "How are you?" or "How are things?" And the other person will answer with fine, and then ask you a similar question. I mean, how about you, for example? Okay, so we ask questions like, hi, Susie, how are you? Fine, thanks. And you? Fine, thanks. Okay, so there's a typical way of saying hello, of greeting people, when you meet someone in the street, or virtually, or I mean, when you go in your workplace or your school. Fine, fine, thanks, okay, and okay, thanks mean all the same. Okay, so you can say fine, fine, thanks, okay, okay, thanks. They are equal. Okay, they don't think there's basically no difference in any of them. I'm very well, thanks is a little bit more formal. Okay, so I'm very well, thanks is a little bit more formal, and not bad, thanks, can't complain. These are like, okay, everything is fine, but maybe not as fine as you might think, but it's like less positive than the other expressions. Okay, so when you can say fine, fine, thanks, okay, okay, thanks, they all mean the same. Like I said, I'm very well, thanks. This is more formal. Not bad, thanks, can't complain. These are a little bit less positive. Okay, these are a little bit less positive. Any questions so far here? Any questions so far here? No, oops, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is how we say hello in a very informal way and a very quick way when we meet with friends or when we meet with somebody. Let's continue. In formal situations, you can also say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Okay, they all mean hello. Good morning is for from the morning up to lunchtime. Lunch is when when you eat around 12, 1. Good afternoon is in the afternoon until the early evening around 6 p.m. Good evening is for the rest of the evening. And good night is when you leave. Okay, remember, good night is when you leave. Okay, so don't get confused between good evening and good night. For example, if I arrive to somebody's home or somebody's office or whatever, I say good evening. How's everyone? Okay, but when I'm leaving, I would say good night. Have a great afternoon. Okay, so these are our ways of saying hello, and of course, like I said, good night is a way of saying goodbye. Okay, now introducing yourselves. Here are some simple phrases you can use. For example, I'm Carlos, my first name, or I can give you my first name and my surname. Okay, I'm Carlos Martinez. Okay, so this is my first name, I'm Carlos, or my full name, I am Carlos Martinez. I can also say my name is Carlos. Okay, I can also say my name is Carlos, or I can say my name is Carlos Martinez. Okay, so I can use both. I can use only my first name or my full name, which is my first name Carlos and my surname Martinez. Remember that in English-speaking countries, the mother's maiden name is normally not used. It's very rare for English-speaking people to give both of their last names. Okay, normally it's only the one. Okay, so for example, my last name, my both my last names are Martinez Flores, but in the United States or Europe, I would not have to mention it. Okay, I'll just share my father's surname, which is Martinez. In formal situations, you give your first name and your surname. In informal situations, you only give your first name. So this is very obvious, right? If you meet up with friends, hi, my name is Carlos. But if I meet up at a meeting, I'll say, hi, my name is Carlos Martinez, okay? The other person will say, pleased to meet you, or nice to meet you, or good to meet you. The three are exactly the same, okay? There is no difference between any of the three. Remember, you can say, pleased to meet you, nice to meet you, or good to meet you, and they are exactly the same. Okay, no, basically and literally no difference whatsoever. Okay, so are there any questions here before we continue to the next? Remember, you can ask questions through Facebook, through the Facebook app, or through Zoom. Okay, so remember, formal ways of saying hello, also good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Okay, these are formal ways of saying hello, but good night is a formal way of saying goodbye. Okay, And then when you introduce yourself, you can say my name is, or I'm, and only use your first name. I'm Carlos. My name is Carlos. Or if it's a formal situation, I'll use my full name. I'm Carlos Martinez, or my name is Carlos Martinez. Okay. And the other person will respond, pleased to meet you, nice to meet you, or good to meet you. Okay. Very good. Let's continue. Example conversations. Hi, I'm Claire. Pleased to meet you. I'm Dave. This is informal, you see. Hi, I'm Claire. Pleased to meet you. I'm Dave. Now, a formal presentation. Good morning. I am David Green. Pleased to meet you. I'm John Harris. Good to meet you, or pleased to meet you, or nice to meet you. Okay. So remember, when it's informal, we only use our first names. Hi, I am Carlos. Pleased to meet you. I am Dave. Good to meet you. I am Carlos Martinez. Pleased to meet you. I am Teresa Rodriguez. Okay, good to meet you. Okay. Sometimes people say good to meet you too. I mean, it's basically the same. This is ways of introducing people and saying when I want to present somebody else, not me, because I already presented myself, right? So I say, this is, for example, this is my brother. This is Jose Martinez, for example. Okay, he is my brother. Okay, so normally you give extra information about this other person. You just say, okay, this is Juan, and finish. No, you need to say, this is Pedro. He works with me, for example, or this is Rosa. She's a colleague of mine. Okay, so normally you can give, you should give, and I'm not, you not could, you should give extra information about this person you're introducing. Um, Again, if it's formal, you will say full name, right? And if it's informal, you only say the first name. Okay, that depends on the situation. If you're meeting with people from work, it's an informal reunion. I don't know. You will decide. You will figure out if it's formal, informal, depending on the situation. Now, okay, so you see, here's more information. He's a colleague, or she's my cousin. Always say who or she, he or she is. Hi, this is Karen. She is my sister. Okay, understand? Or this is Lorenzo, he is my father, or he is my colleague. Okay, so you would mention some example, some extra information about this person. Okay, here are some example conversations. For example, John, this is Paul, he's a friend of mine. Okay, so you're telling this person that he's a friend. He's not from work, he's a friend. Okay, John, this is Paul, he's a friend of mine. Hi Paul, nice to meet you. Good to meet you, John. Okay, or this is Sally, she is my cousin. Hi Sally, pleased to meet you. Sally, pleased to meet you too. Okay, so you're giving, you're presenting, you're introducing this other person, but you're also giving extra information about him or her. It's very important. Okay, because imagine I want to, I'm with my brother Jose. Okay, and I say, hi, this is Jose. Okay, and you're like, who's Jose, who's this guy? I mean, tell me something about him. Okay, so that's why you need, without the other, you don't need the other person to ask, okay, but who is he? No, before we avoid that question by saying, hi, this is Jose, he's my brother. Okay, if you want to give more information, you can also do it, right? Hi, this is Jose, he's my brother. He works in a law firm, for example. Okay, so it's very important to always give extra information if you when you present or introduce somebody new to another person. Let's continue. English greetings. Okay, when two friends meet, very simple. I mean, this happened, well, sadly nowadays it doesn't happen too much because of COVID, but but when two friends normally met, they would say hi, right? Then the other often asks a general question, like, how are you? How are things? How's life? Okay, this is normal. It is, this is a conversation that occurs with with friends and people that know each other, right? And to reply this question, it is normally very positive. Fine, thank you. And you? Fine, thanks. What about yourself? Not bad, can't complain. But remember that when we said this, can't complain is okay. I can't complain because maybe there are some things that are a little bit bad, but I can't complain. I mean, I can bear with it, okay? So fine, thanks. And you? Fine, thanks. What about yourself? Not bad, or can't complain. Okay, so these are typical answers to the question that to the questions that I just mentioned here, which are how are you, how are things, or how is life. Okay, this is two friends meeting, normal friends from forever. Okay, now when you greet people you don't know, this is now you're going to say hello to people that you don't know. Okay. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Nani, for your comments. Remember, if you have any questions, you can ask the questions via Zoom or via Facebook app. Okay. Greeting people you don't know. Okay, you can use hello with people you don't know. Notice that when it's a friend, we say hi. Hi and hello are exactly the same, but hello is a little bit more formal. Okay, instead of saying hi. This is something very important in at least in the English language, because people they won't get offended, but they will certainly find it a little bit odd, a little bit strange when somebody you've never met says hi. Yeah, normally say hello, right? How are you? Good morning. Okay. Normally the questions are a little bit more formal. Okay. You can use hello with people you don't know, but a formal greeting is good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, right? The other person normally replies with the same. Okay, good morning. They'll say good morning. I mean, normally that's the way it happens, right? Good afternoon, good afternoon. Okay, hello, hello. This is how it normally happens. People will answer normally with the same greeting, and then makes polite conversation. For example, you arrive it's a Monday morning and you arrive to work and you say, "Good morning, everyone." Everybody says, "Good morning. How are you? How was your weekend? You know, did you relax?" Okay, so normally they're going to ask a polite question to start the conversation, and then you will say, "Oh yes, it was a great weekend. I went out with my family, with my friends, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my wife, my husband, whatever." Okay, but normally it's a way of starting conversation. But this is when people that you do not know. Okay, and so notice the difference between hi and hello, very big difference between how are you, how are things, how's life, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Okay, it's very important to take notice of these things. Before I continue, I would like to see if there are any questions. Are there any questions before we go on? No? Okay, good. So let's continue. Introducing yourself. Okay, I'm going to say things about me. Okay, now at an informal party, this is a party that is not a work party or it's just between friends, right? Hello, I'm Maria, or hello, my name is Maria. In my case, hi, hello, I'm Carlos. Hello, my name is Carlos. They would say, hi, I'm Sarah, or hello, Maria, I'm Sarah, or nice to meet you, I'm Sarah. Okay, so they would. These are the three most common ways of answering, right? If I say, hello, I'm Carlos. Hi, I'm Sarah, they would say. Or hello, my name is Carlos. Oh, hello, Carlos. I am Sarah. Okay, or nice to meet you. I'm Sarah. They can sometimes add the names. Nice to meet you, Carlos. I am Sarah. Okay, so these are ways the way people say hello or present themselves at an informal party. Okay, at a work related event. Notice how the vocabulary here changes. Okay, the vocabulary here changes. Now we are more formal. Now we use other vocabulary. For example, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Maria from English at Home. Or let me introduce myself. I'm Maria from English at Home. Okay. Um, the reply would be nice to meet you. I am Peter Michael and from Michael Creations. Okay. So notice how we went from hello, I'm Maria. Hi, Maria. I'm Sarah. To let me introduce myself. I'm Maria. Nice to meet you. I'm Peter from Michael Creations. So we went. They are the same. It's the same conversation, but one is formal, one is informal. Hello, my name is Maria. Hello, Maria. I'm Sarah. Let me introduce myself. I'm Maria from English at Home. Pleased to meet you. I'm Peter Mitchell from Mitchell Creations. Okay, so notice the difference between the introductions. Okay, they are doing the same activity but in different format, in different contexts. Okay, in different situations. Remember that it's very important to take into account these things because, I mean, if you are at an informal venue or an informal situation and you present yourself like, pleased to meet you, I'm Carlos Martinez from Comics. Okay, people are going to understand. Nobody's going to be offended, but they were like, wow, this guy's so formal. I mean, if I just say hi, why would you give me all this information? But nothing's going to happen. People are just going to say, oh wow, this guy is very formal. But if it works the other way around, for example, if you are at a formal reunion or a formal meeting, and the presenter says, "I'd like to introduce myself. I am Maria from English at Home." You say, "Hi, Maria." Then even though you're not going to get fired, I suppose, but it might create an awkward or strange situation. Okay, so remember that if the language is formal, then the everything needs to be formal. If the language is informal, then everything needs to be informal. Just be careful with that, please. Okay. Can we move on with this? No. Um, Now we're going to continue about introductions, but now introducing people. Okay. Now this was the same as we mentioned before, but now with some different vocabulary. We're going to introduce a friend to a work colleague. Okay. Sarah, have you met my colleague John? Sarah, I'd like you to meet my colleague John. Okay. So now I am. Remember that we said in the informal way, Sarah, this is John. This was very informal. But now we are at a formal venue. We are maybe at a work, or maybe we are at a meeting. Okay, Sarah, have you met my colleague John? Sarah, I'd like you to meet my colleague John. Sarah is going to respond, pleased to meet you, John, or nice to meet you, John. And John could say, nice to meet you too, Sarah, or hello, Sarah. This hello, Sarah, it's still, it's very short, but notice that we're saying hello. We are not saying hi, Sarah. Okay, we are saying hello, Sarah. So we are just we are maintaining the formality. Okay. If you hear some music in the background, it's well, it's in the background, so it's like background music, but it's also because I live above from a restaurant, and um, they tend to be a little bit loud with their music. I mean, it's fine sometimes, but it is what it is, like I heard some politicians say one day. Okay, so let's continue. So these are, remember, introducing yourself and introducing other people. Notice that even though we're saying hello, Sarah, in this last introduction or response to the introduction, even though it's very short, it is still formal, okay? It is still formal because we're not saying hi, okay? That little word makes a big difference, okay? Let's continue. Now, for example, introducing clients, okay? For example, here it says, Mitchell, I'd like to introduce you to my manager, Henry Lewis. And Mr. Mitchell would say, how do you do? And Henry Lewis would say, how do you do? Okay. Or Mr. Mitchell could say, pleased to meet you, or good to meet you. Notice the formality in the language. These are different words used in different in the same way to express the same thing, but in a more formal manner. Okay. Mr. Mitchell, I'd like to introduce you to my manager. So I'm presenting my boss, my manager, okay, Henry Lewis. Mr. Mitchell would say, how do you do? Okay. And normally, like we mentioned before, normally the question is replicated, right? How is everything? You know, how do you, fine. How is everything with you? Okay. Normally this is something common in the English language where questions are normally replicated. Okay. How do you do? How do you do? Okay. These are just common ways of the use of the language. Okay. Giving personal information. When we want to give personal information, sometimes people ask you about personal details, such as your name, your address, date of birth. Here are some typical questions and ways that you can answer. For example, when we want to give personal information, now we use the famous WH questions, okay? Now we want to know specific questions. Now we want to know, we went from how are you, but now we want to know more, okay? Now we already met, we already started, we already broke the ice. Now we want to ask more specific information. So we can use question words like, for example, who, to ask for the name of a person. We can say whose, to ask about the owner, property, possession. Why, to ask for a reason. Where, to ask for a place. What, to ask about a thing or a concept. Which, to ask about a thing. When, to ask about time. How, to ask about the way something happens, okay? Notice again, who, to ask about the name of a person. Whose, to ask about possession or the owner. Why, to ask for the reason. Where, to ask for the place. What, to ask about a thing or a concept. Which, to ask about a thing. When, to ask about time. How, to ask about the way something happens, okay? So we can also use how much or how many to talk about quantity. How much is used for um, uncountable things like how much money, how much air, how much water, how much oil. How many is used for things that we can count. How many people, how many lemons, how many chairs, how many students, okay? How long is to ask about the duration. How long have you been studying English? For 6 months. How long have you been a teacher? I've been a teacher for almost 20 years. Okay, how often is used to ask about frequency. Okay, the repetition of things. Okay, that's when we use how often. Okay, so remember, how much and how many are equal, but how much is for uncountable things. Okay, things that you cannot count. How much water, how much oil, how much milk, how much rice, how much money, and how many is for things that you can count. How many people, how many students, how many teachers. Okay, and how often, how long is for the duration. How long have you been a teacher? I've been a teacher for almost 20 years. Okay, how often is for the frequency. How often do you go to the supermarket? Oh, I go 3 times a week, or I always go to the supermarket. Okay, how often do you visit your parents? Oh, I visit them every day. Okay, so because they live in the same in my same building, so I'm luckily thank God I can see them every day. Okay, but if your parents don't live with you, you can avoid visiting them. Just just to avoid um, getting them sick or something. Okay, so just be careful with that. Take the necessary precautions if you're going to do it. Take the necessary precautions. Um, then we have the next thing we're going to talk about is remember the word order of questions. Okay, now the number one would say the question word. Okay, remember the question word is optional because, for example, if I say, "Do you work?" I mean, the auxiliary is never optional. Okay, the auxiliary needs to go. Okay, do you live in Chorrillos? Do you work? Do you study? Okay, we need this word. Okay, but the question word is are these, right? Who, whose, why, where, what, which, when, how much, how many, how long. They are the question word. They are number one. They are optional because if I say, do you live in Chorrillos? Yes, I do, or no, I don't. But if I don't know, where do you live? Okay, so now I collocate it in the first position. Then we have the subject and the verb and the complement. Notice always one, two. Well, this should be number three. I apologize. Okay, one, two, three, four. One, two, three. Okay. Here there's no question word, so it's two, three, four. So always question word, auxiliary, subject, verb. Question word, the verb to be, the subject. Auxiliary, the subject, and the complement. Okay, so there's you always need to learn. You always need to remember the position of these words. Okay, if there is no question word like what, when, where, why, who, the question starts with the auxiliary do, does, did if it's in the past, or the verb to be. Okay, so remember, if there's no question word, the question word is going to start. The question is going to start with the auxiliary do, does, did, or the verb to be, and the answer is always going to be yes or no. Do you work? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Does he study? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Did you practice? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Okay. Are you a teacher? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Is he your sister? Yes, she is. No, she isn't. Okay. Are they having fun? Yes, they are. No, they aren't. Okay. Very good. Now, some typical questions. The first one is, what's your name? What's your name? My name is Carlos. My name is Carlos Martinez. Or you can say, I am Carlos, or I am Carlos Martinez. What's your first name? Carlos, in this case, Susan. What's your surname, family name, or second name? Okay, so it depends. What's my surname? Martinez. What's my second name? Javier, for example. On a form, you can often see these abbreviations. So Mr. is always for a man, whether he's single or he's married. Okay, Mr. Juan Perez, single, fine. Mr. Pedro Torres, married, single, same. But for women, we have three. We have Mrs., Miss, and Mrs. The pronunciation is the same. Notice Mrs., Miss, and Mrs. Again, Mrs., Miss, and Mrs. Okay, you don't say Miss. Miss is it's not correct. It's Mrs., Miss, and Mrs. Now, Mrs., this first one is women married. Mrs. Perez, okay, that means that she's married. Miss is for a woman, but when you're single, when you're not married, okay? So remember, Mrs. is women married. Miss is woman single. And Miss, this one Miss is when you don't want, I mean, it's not relevant. You are not going to mention, okay? You don't want to say if you're single or married. You just want to say Miss. I mean, you want to keep anonymous that, I mean, because if you say Mrs., with MRS, you're telling everyone that you're married. If you say Miss, you're telling everyone that you're single. But if you say Miss with MS, Nobody knows if you're single or you're married, okay? Doctor is to show that a person is a doctor or has a PhD, okay? If you have a PhD, then you can say doctor, okay? So I remember that this happened in for example, with the new president of the United States, his wife, she has a PhD and she moves all around the country saying she's a doctor, and people say no, she's not a doctor. But she has a PhD, so she can be called doctor. Okay, so these are our ways of asking. Remember, what's your name? Carlos. What's your surname? My surname Martinez. And Mr. is for a man, single or married. Mrs. is for a woman married. Miss is for a woman single, and Mrs. is for a woman single or married. It's not relevant. Doctor is for a person who has a PhD or a degree in medical science. Okay, this is actually a real doctor, a physician. Okay, very good. Any questions so far before we continue? Any questions so far when we continue? Via Zoom or via Facebook. Thank you for your participation. You know, I always like to see when people participate. No? Okay, so let's continue. Now, what's your date of birth? Okay, this is something that we need to take into account because it is different. It is different the way we mention dates, or in Peru. In Peru, we mentioned, for example, we say we say the day. For example, today is 6 February 2021, right? You write 6/2/2021. But in the United States, you say first the month. So you have to be careful. Britain or London is the same as Peru, but you need to be careful because it's English, the same as the USA. So you need to know who you're talking to. If you're talking to Peru or Britain, it's the same, you know. The day, the month, the year. 6 February 2021. But if you're talking to an English to an American, it's going to be the month first, no, February 6, 2021. So it's 2/6/2021. So be careful with that, okay? So it's day, month, year. It's the 2nd of July, 1980, or it's on the second. It's on 2nd of July, 1980. You can write 2 July 1980 or July 2, 1980, but you're going to read the same. Okay, notice you write it like this, but you read it like this. Be careful with that. Okay, here it says it's July 2nd, 1980. Okay, or it's the 2nd of July, 1980. When we talk about dates, we only use ordinal numbers: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th. And then we have 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, or 19th, up to the 20th, and then 21st, 22nd. When we get to the 20, we go back to here: 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and then we go to 30, but we say 30th, and some months have 31st. Okay, so notice these are the numbers that we're going to use: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, and then 21st, and we go back: 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. Okay, so you can say the 2nd of July or July the 2nd. Today is, for example, February 5th, 2021, or the 5th of February, 2021. Okay. Marital status: I'm married, I am single, I am divorced, I am or widowed. Widowed is when your wife or your husband has passed away. Um, she's with God, or anybody or whoever you believe in. Okay, or are you married? Okay, this is to ask for the marital status. Okay, for the marital status. Another question, another thing that we can give is your address. Where do you live? What's your address? So where do you live? When we talk about addresses, we use it like this. For example, normally we give the full address, the name of the house if there is one, the street number, the town or city, the country, postal code, and country. For example, my house doesn't have a house a name, but I would say, let's say I live in Chorrillos, right? So Guaylas Avenue, 123, um, Chorrillos, Lima, 15064, Peru. Okay, so that's how you go. Okay, for example, again, my location doesn't have a number, but let's say would say you live in a building that is very famous. Let's say Museo de la Nación. That's your address. Museo de la Nación, Javier Prado Avenue, 123, San Borja, Lima, and the postal code, Peru. Okay, so this is how you write your address in English. Okay, and finally, when we need to say a goodbye, when we say goodbye, there are different expressions that you can say goodbye, and it depends on the situation. Okay, the people involved. I mean, who's saying goodbye to friends, to colleagues, teacher and student, and your boss and your employee. So it depends, okay? And your relationship, if it's your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, I don't know, it depends. So leaving and saying goodbye. So these are some expressions. You can say, all right, everyone, it's time to head off. It's time to say goodbye. Anyway, guys, I'm going to make a move. Okay, I'm going to make a move. I have to go. Okay, everyone, it's time to leave you. Bye-bye. Okay, everyone, it's time to leave you. Or see you later. See you tomorrow. See you soon. Okay, so these are other ways of saying goodbye. And the last one, talk to you later. Okay, it's like see you later. It's a different version of see you later, but this is with talk. It's basically the same. This is what sometimes we say hablamos in Spanish, right? So talk to you later. Now, if you want to say goodbye in a hurry, okay, this is when you want to leave quickly because you have an emergency or something happened. I don't know. So you say, I'm so sorry. I've got to rush off. I've got to run or I've got to hurry. Okay, I'm so sorry. I've got to rush off. I've got to run or I've got to hurry. Okay, so the person immediately knows, oh, I hope everything is fine. I hope everything is okay. Okay, and this is because you're leaving very quickly. I'm afraid I'm going to have to rush off. I'm afraid I'm going to have to run. I'm afraid I'm going to have to hurry. The same as the first one, but instead of saying I'm so sorry, you say I'm afraid I'm going to have to. Okay, the same meaning is exactly the same. The meaning is equal the same. Okay, next, saying goodbye politely after meeting someone. Nice to see you. It's been lovely to see you. Okay, this is when you say goodbye to someone politely after you have met him or her. Nice to see you. It's been lovely to see you. So these are ways of saying goodbye in a very formal and polite way. Okay, and then we have these expressions here. It's great to see you. Again, this is, remember, we're coming from this slide where it says to say goodbye politely. Okay, to say goodbye politely. We have, it was great to see you. Good to see you. Have a lovely evening. Have a nice evening. Okay, have a good day. These are polite ways of saying goodbye to someone you've met. Saying goodbye to your host. Imagine you are a guest. You went to a party and the host invites you to your house and you are the guest. Okay. Thank you very much for dinner. Thank you very much for lunch. It was lovely. Okay. Thank you, or thank you very much for the breakfast. Okay. So this is when you're saying goodbye to your host because maybe they invited you for dinner or for lunch and you want to say thank you. You want to say goodbye. So thank you very much for dinner. Thank you very much for lunch. It was lovely. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for receiving me. Okay, so this is a way of saying goodbye when you were invited somewhere. And then other ways of saying goodbye are take care, bye, bye bye, later man, later bro. Okay, this is, it's common. I mean, it's very common. Maybe it's informal, but it's a way of saying goodbye. Have a good one. You know, it's like have a good day, but have a good one. It's time to be going. So long. Okay, have a good one is very common. Sometimes I remember I normally use it, but sometimes people don't understand it because they don't relate. Have a good one, goodbye. I mean, but remember, these are fixed expressions, these are collocations, these are expression fixed phrases that Americans and any English speaker will understand. So if you say have a good one, you're saying goodbye. Okay, that means have a good day. And so long. And then we have slang goodbyes. Okay, these are slang. Slang is what we call in Spanish colloquial expressions or jergas, right? Catch you later. Catch you later. Catch. I mean, no, this is an expression of catch you later. It's like see you later. Peace or peace out. Peace out is talk to you soon and I hope you're fine. I'm out. I'm out. That means bye bye. And finally, smell you later. Smell you later. It's a funny way of saying goodbye to your friends. Smell you later. Okay. Of course, nobody can get offended with this because it's a very informal and funny way of saying goodbye to your friends. And finally, farewell. When you say farewell, is because you intend to never to see the person again. Okay. I hope nobody tells me farewell, because if you tell me farewell, that means that you are parting from me forever. Okay. So I hope this is not the case. Okay, so we have different ways of saying goodbye. We have different ways of parting from friends. Okay, and now before we go, I would like for us to do a quick review of what we just practiced. For example, thanks very much for dinner or lunch. It was lovely. It's been lovely to see you, Mr. Mitchell. I'd like to introduce you to my manager, Henry Lewis. Peace, peace out. Sarah, have you met my colleague John? Now, which one of these is saying goodbye to your hosts? Slang goodbyes. Say goodbye in a hurry, introducing clients, and introducing a friend to a colleague. Let's see. Thanks very much for dinner. It was lovely. This one. Which one of these is it? Thanks very much for dinner, lunch. It was lovely. Okay. I have an answer here on Zoom. Let's see. Anybody else would like to participate? And yes, if you said saying goodbye to your host, very good. Excellent. Saying goodbye to your host. It's been lovely to see you. 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 Very good. Saying goodbye in a hurry, okay? It's been lovely to see you. Mr. Mitchell, I'd like to introduce you to my manager, Henry Lewis. Mr. Mitchell, I'd like to introduce you to my manager, Henry Lewis. Is it a slang goodbye? Is it introducing clients? Or is it introducing a friend to a colleague? Client says Lisbeth. Client says Miss Vargas. Let's see. In Facebook, what do you guys say? Very good, very good, excellent for the people who answered introducing clients. Very, very good. Now we have two left. We have peace or peace out, and we have Sarah. Have you met my colleague John? And we have slang goodbyes and introducing a friend to a colleague. Which is which? Peace, peace out. Ale, yes, very good. Ale host. The last, let's see. You think that peace out is introducing a friend to a colleague? Any other alternative? Any other option? Any other ideas? Slang goodbyes. Fiorella, very good. Very good, Fiorella Martinez. You have the same last name. Okay, so peace, peace out. Slang goodbyes. Very good. Yes, Ale, very good slang. And finally, and of course, our last option is Sarah. Have you met my colleague John? We're introducing a friend to a colleague. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so I hope that you have practiced the way we introduce, the way we meet people. Um, and I hope that you continue attending these lectures at Camp Panorama Comercio Exterior. These are made to help you out in practicing the new language and in learning new things. Okay, so here's my Gmail account, cjmflores@gmail.com. Here's my WhatsApp number, 947-390-436. And this is my LinkedIn account, cjmflores27. Okay, so you can contact me and I could gladly help you out, answer any questions that you might have. And I hope you continue to have a great Saturday, and I will see you in a bit. I have another lecture in a little bit, about the topic of cultures. I will see you in a few minutes. Have a great Saturday and stay tuned. Bye bye.